you know how to make those. You just add a fill layer like so. Now in this fill layer, um, I just want height, right? So I'm going to turn the rest of this off. Now I can also leave the leather on if I want to see it while I'm putting the wrinkles on. But sometimes I like to go ahead and turn that off, at least initially, so that I can figure out how it looks. Now the first thing we want to do is I think of pressing in wrinkles. So I'm going to make my height negative, right? So around negative 1.16 or negative 2. I would never go past negative zero point 0.2, right? But somewhere around here, just a, and you'll of course see no effect yet because there's nothing being applied. So this layer, I'm going to call this, you know, the push, I don't know, push in. And this will be the crinkles pushing in. And all I really need to do is add a black mask, right? So when I put the black mask in, then I can go over here and look for wrinkles. Now there are some wrinkly brushes or wrinkly things. I'm gonna use an actual material, and I forgot. I always forget what it was called. Overpriced. I want to use overpriced, and it's something that I think you have. If you don't have, it's freely available. I can make it available, but all overpriced is a wrinkly thing. It's overpriced leather, wrinkly leather, right? And it could be a material that you add to the whole thing. I'm going to brush it in, right? So let's do that. So if I start brushing, you can see I'm getting these wrinkles. Now, you can, one of the settings that you want to do is you want to have the follow path turned on. That way, when you do wrinkles, they go in the direction that you meant, right? So in the case up here, I think I wanted the directions to be, and I'm going to make this stroke opacity 100% just so that I can see it better. You know, which direction you want those wrinkles to be in. You know, I tend to think of the corners being like that, right? So you want the follow to do like that so that you can make the wrinkles just so. So I'm going to put the wrinkles like on the corners, they're going that angle. When they're here, they're like that, like that. You know what I mean? So in this way, the direction of your wrinkles is correct. All right. I'll just do it for one section here. So that's no good. Let's try it. Maybe a bigger, you know. And the other thing is, I might go, like that, right? So that I can see flows and directions of these wrinkles. Let's see if I do it. Sometimes I just randomly do, but you want like some crossing and some not crossing. This is doing a little worse job than my original wrinkle. I think because I had my angle set to 90. Let's see if that does a better. So that the wrinkles are mostly in the right direction. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so when I spin it, I get the effect I'm looking for. So, like in here, I'm going to do a big old spin to get this one. So it looks like the wrinkles are all going to the center line, right? And so I'm going to try doing this bigger. And that's why I like that follow, because then you can have your wrinkles go in the direction that you meant, right? So let's do that. Maybe let's do that again. There we go. That way. Oops. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Sometimes you have to whip it with your wrist and get that wrinkle to go across. See how it's going a nice right here. All right, so that's good enough. I think well, let's put some in here. I forgot to put some in here. We'll do some just on this back section here. And you can just sort of have random wrinkling, that where you're not really caring, and you just put some details there, and then you can always paint, stroke it, or brush it, later. I just like to have the follow path on for like when I'm trying to get the wrinkles that are going and that radial pattern around the couch, right? So let's do it as a bigger, and maybe I can adjust. I think I wanted to adjust the strength or the balance or something. The hardness, about the same. Alright, so I spin it around to get that effect, where it's pulling to the middle of the couch. Now eventually I'm going to add other effects and strokes or something to this. I'm also going to remove where I don't want wrinkles, right? Now for the smaller, tighter areas, you may want a smaller, tighter looking wrinkle set in there, right? If it's a finer grain leather, it'll have finer wrinkles. But if it's kind of a smooth, big leather, it's going to have bigger wrinkles. Let's do this one bigger. And as you can see, but when I use a big stroke like this, it gets a lot of it done for you real quick. But you may need to go back in and make some adjustments. Some of this are directed wrinkles, and some of it are just, me randomly making wrinkle spots. So I made wrinkles kind of all over, and it's mostly working. And the only thing I want to do now is I want to add another paint so that I can get rid of wrinkles. Now, one thing before you get rid of wrinkles, you want to make sure that you do have wrinkles at least somewhere, everywhere. And I'll make my stroke opacity a little different so that I can, make sure I have at least something everywhere. There we go. I think I put wrinkles sufficiently all around. I might have left off some wrinkles here and there. I'll just do a quick little thing here, just to get something in there, and then eventually, what we're going to do is we're going to minimize some wrinkles back. Oh, okay, I got them on that corner. Let's see if I got some on there. I think I do have some in here. Maybe I'll make my stroke opacity strong. Something like that. Anyway, so I've got a pass, and now what we want to do is we want to make areas that have no wrinkles. So it's like the wrinkles are coming on from stress of the fabric going around the things. So all I have to do to add to that is let's add a paint to the mask. So make sure that you've selected the mask here that you were pushing in with. I'm going to select add paint. And really, with the add paint, you just got to make sure that you go back to brushes here. We're going to paint. We don't want leather. We just want a simple brush stroke, which is like a soft, basic soft, right? Now you can use wrinkles and stuff as a wrinkle eraser, but that may have undesired effects. So I just use a basic soft, And then when I paint in here, oops, I'm still painting wrinkles. I have to do basic soft. Well, I'm still painting all this junk, uh, uh, grayscale and stuff like that. I'm going to turn that off and just have, I think, yeah, now I can, you know, erase where I don't want wrinkles. Now, one of the things you want to be sure to do is take the flow and opacity down, and also adjust. You can do this with a pen, and it does a better job, but I'm just going to do this without a pen to show you um, how I have to adjust the opacities a little bit here and there. And in this way, you can remove the wrinkles from areas that shouldn't be wrinkled. So I'm going to turn this opacity much lower, because this is going to be, you know, very soft touching, at least, you know, for the edges. But in the middle, I want this to look more straight, right? It's fine to have the stress wrinkles along the edges, but I want the inside areas to not be wrinkled, right? That was the whole point of this tutorial. So I'm going to do that here, and there. And you can you want to kind of work in from like in the direction of the wrinkles, or to the direction of the wrinkles, like that one wrinkle I'm just going to get rid of. And then you can also have a slightly bigger brush for big areas where you know you're going to just have a flat zone in there. Let's take those wrinkles right out. You know, just keep stroking the brush over it, you know. And eventually you'll get this look. Now, over plain, sometimes it doesn't look as good, right? So, but if I put the leather back on, you can see how much more interesting, or how much more realistic it looks. So let's turn that back on. And you can see how the leather is flowing with the wrinkles better, right? So some of those I might just take them all the way out, right? Maybe there's not hardly any wrinkles right here. Maybe I don't like that. Maybe I just don't like a particular wrinkle, and I just get rid of it, right? And so like this gnarly bunch of wrinkles here, I don't want that to happen in the middle. We're imagining a cushiony part under the leather that will be nice and smooth, while the inside of the leather, I mean the where the corners are, where the leather is being pushed in, you know, to the corners there, is going to be nice and creasy, right? Let's get rid of some of that. Maybe I'm going overboard on that part. Now, of course, right here, we don't want a sloppy leather job in there. We want the leather to be pulled nice and tight. So we're going to erase these wrinkles in here, right? Now you don't want to erase everything completely. Leave a few little bends and pushes. That makes it look more real, right? But like this, you can see, you know, I do still want a more smooth area in here. So, you know, they did a better job than that, you know, making this leather couch so that it's only wrinkling where, you know, realistically it does a nice wrinkle. Now right here is bad. We would be a bad couch job if we left that. So I'm going to turn my stroke way up, and I'm going to get it much bigger, and I'm going to just flatten this completely, you know, so that it's in this section at least, it's nice and smooth. Now then I can take that stroke opacity down, and we'll blend it a little bit together, you know. Make sure that it's a nice smooth transition between the wrinklies and the flat part, right? This is good for rubber, you know, like a balloon or something too. Even fabrics and cloths, you can do this. Oh, here I'm going to turn my stroke way up for this one and get rid of most of the stuff in the middle, right? if we do that for this part, tend to focus, in a radial pattern so that it the wrinkles look like they're kind of being pulled to the center of the patch of leather. So I'm gonna do like this. And, this is actually a really good set of wrinkles I made right here. We'll leave that for interest. Don't do everything exactly the same. Kind of have some organic quality to it. Don't be super careful, I guess is the word. Don't be too simplistic in your approach. You do want to be pretty clean, but just over, don't overpaint, right? Don't put too much wrinkles, and don't kill all your wrinkles when you go like this to get rid of it. But get the realism in there by, having your wrinkles flow together. Like right here, this is the ideal spot where I can kind of hand tune, where I want the the wrinkles to blend a little better. Go in the direction of the wrinkles. Also push into the wrinkles. So you push away, push in, and it'll give it a little variation, a little better reality to it. Let's give this one nice and soft. I'm going to take the stroke way down and just really make this just a soft section of big wrinkles, right? Sometimes you have a big soft section. Sometimes you have a nice creasy section. Mix it up. Don't do the same thing every time, but mostly follow the same rules across everything. Right here, I think I'm gonna make this stroke really high opacity because I want this to be not wrinkled. This is where the customers will see the thing, and I want it to look like it's right over the wood and fabric, right? And I want that to be not so like the creases are stretched around, but not sloppily made. So let's do that right here too. Take the creases out in the middle of the section. Now you can do this procedurally. You could use a curvature map or an AO map so that you do it procedurally, but I think doing it by hand gives you a better job because you get more of the, and you can do it procedurally and then doll it up a little bit by hand, but I find doing it this way might give me a better result, right? Make sure that you have good flat sections in here, and we'll work into the creases. Maybe this pillow's giving it a little crease, because it's sitting there. I don't know, but we're gonna leave it a little bit there, and then just work in a little bit. Make sure everything is good and smooth, but also wrinkled. It's a fine line. Let's turn the stroke opacity down on these and kind of work in there. I might have gone too far. Let's do that. Okay. Oh, well, let's turn it back up and get rid of those right in there. Anyway, I think you get the idea of how I do this. I'll take that stroke way up. Just get rid of all that in there. I kind of like some of those wrinkles, so I may take the stroke opacity. I didn't mean to change the spacing. Put the spacing back. Let's put that. Don't get rid of it entirely. Just here and there, smooth it, right? So it looks more real, right? That's why I'm really working with that stroke opacity here and there. Now, right here on sections where it needs to be flat entirely, you just can give it a good smash of flatness, right? In these type sections, right? We want these type sections to be flat and just have the creases and folds, happening near where it should happen, right? I might have overdid that one, but let's underdo this one then maybe. where, so that when you look at one or you look at the other, you can see an example where it does have more wrinkles or a little bit less wrinkles, organic quality to it. And let's smash this one out right here. And occasionally, hit all of the wrinkles out of a certain section, right? Like maybe it just happens to be really smooth. Anyway, this should give you a good idea how I do this. So let's do a big smash overall, so that I can kind of wrap up this video. Let's do a big smash here, big smash here. I think it does better if you kind of do a roundish type stroke to get that radial wrinkly pattern correct, right? And I think that looks really nice. Now you can see how things look if there's an area that stands out like this one. We'll give it a little bit more work. Make sure check your work this way so that the overall patterns kind of are all matching. Looks like I need a spot in here, a spot in there, and maybe I'll give it a little touch in here and there, in the middles here. Like I said, I think sometimes it does a good idea to do kind of a rounding stroke. Maybe this is sitting in there. You can leave a little wrinkle here and there if you want to indicate the pillows are crinkling. I need to take that stroke down for this part. It's not overdue, right? We don't want to over smooth it. Now that way you can see my leather's looking really good. So hopefully this makes sense to you. Filter, I believe. So let's be sure you have your mask selected. We're going to add a filter, and the filter is blur. I made a mistake. So I was in the generators. So this will blur the wrinkles, right? So if I take the blur intensity way down, you can see that at this resolution there's a few stair steppies, and I don't like those little stair steppies, so I usually give it a little blur just to give it so that it doesn't look so noisy, right? That's the final touch of this blur leather couch tutorial. Wrinkly. All right, hope this helped. I'll see you guys next time.